Well, several arrests have been made in Europe and Australia for alleged terror plots for New Year's Eve, and most major international cities plan to substantially beef up their security for the holiday. But a new report showing ISIS is heavily fundraising in Latin America, even smuggling terrorists into the United States from Mexico. With millions celebrating the new year in public places like Times Square, many are worried that another attack could be imminent, and it could come from south of the border. Joining me now is former Marine Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff. She's back, and Fox News military analyst Captain Chuck Nash. So, Captain Nash, what about this Spanish report about Latin America and the threat from there?
It's from an agency of the Spanish Defense Department. And what they're pointing out is something that we've known for a very long period of time, and that's the triple border area, or the triple frontier, it's sometimes called. And it's down between Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil. And there's a Library of Congress report that was issued in 2003 that traces the criminal activity and the terrorist mix, this convenience, this marriage of convenience, all the way back to 1999.
Gunnery Sergeant, there was a Hezbollah hit down in Buenos Aires, Argentina, back in the 90s. A couple of hundred people were killed in a bombing. It was tied directly to Hezbollah. So there have been incidences down there, but we all worry that in this flood of immigration that we've seen from south of the border, the terrorists might hide some of their own in the mix. Is it happening?
Well, let me first add on to what you had stated. The explosion that happened in Argentina was backed by Iranian-backed Hezbollah. The Iranians were down there, and they were never prosecuted. We never were able to round up those officials because they were in cahoots with their president at the time, or the current president that just left. Christine had left. But what I'm getting at is that right now, crossing the border, we already know that they're getting false IDs, that they're presenting themselves as Mexican nationals or foreign nationals other than from where they're located. So this is a huge threat because they're crossing the border now in rates where we cannot even keep track of them. And illegal immigration is really a considerable problem when you realize that it is being sponsored by Hezbollah, which is, again, going right back to Iran.
Captain Nash, Homeland Security is very important to our nation's security itself. And Donald Trump has announced he wants Marine General John Kelly in there to head up Homeland Security. I saw the Gunnery Sergeant nodding her head. She loves the U.S. Marine Corps, as I do. How is Homeland Security going to change under his guidance?
Well, he was the former commander of Southcom, so he had that area of responsibility as our nation's forward commander in that area. So he understands the drug business. He understands what's going on with the smuggling. He knows, as well as many other people, that ISIS is operating a camp right in the state of Chihuahua in Mexico. He understands that these special interest aliens are being smuggled across the border because of this nexus between the drug smugglers and the terrorists. It's very well known. I think he is going to roll up his sleeves, and there's going to be some enforcement on that border as opposed to turning a Nelsonian blind eye.
Gunnery Sergeant Jay Johnson is our current Homeland Security Director. Now, he's a nice guy. He's well-meaning, but he's not a general. He's not a military guy. There has been historically in the United States kind of an aversion to mixing the military in with Homeland Security. But hasn't it become necessary to do that right now?
Absolutely. And General Kelly has been known to give advice to Jay Johnson. As we can see, none of it was probably taken. He also had advised this administration that we have a problem with ISIS coming over the borders. I mean, unless we want to see another disaster like which happened in Argentina or one like 9/11, we need to get very stringent about this. We also have within Homeland Security misplaced immigration. The green cards were misplaced, and we have many of them that they haven't been able to track down. Those getting in the wrong hands will allow people to come here with nefarious mindsets, and not everybody's here coming to just work.
There's another general, of course, Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, Captain Nash, who has credentials a mile long. He's going to be the national security advisor to Donald Trump. How is he going to change things?
Well, first and foremost, we have to realize that the radicals, the militant Islamists, and the people who go to mosque and obey the laws in this country, they all read from the same texts. Okay, it all depends on what weight you want to put on what part of it, but it's all in there. It's in the DNA of the ideology. And I think what he's going to do first and foremost is we're going to name the threat, which is militant Islam. We're not, unless you deal with the core values and the core roots of this thing, you're just dealing with symptoms. You're not dealing with the disease.
Chuck Nash, Jessie, Jane Duff, good to see you both. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Semper
you.
Fi.